Good morning, my love muffins. Reverend Sue from All Paths to God, recording live from my living room. It's with quite a bit of sadness that I share with you, if you haven't heard already, that our dearest Ellsworth Hart has made his transition. He was in North Carolina at the time with his wife Dolores and his children and his grandchildren. So let us just hold them all in the highest consciousness of love and light. God bless you, Els, until we meet again, and sending peace and serenity to Dolores and her family. God bless you, my friends. We will miss you, Els. I have a couple announcements that I want to just review quickly. One is about our garage sale, because it's just 2 weeks away, on Friday and Saturday, the 13th and the 14th, from 8 to 2 at Jerry Shaman's house in Fort Duquesne. And Thursday, the 12th, is a setup day. I believe Alice has circulated a sign-up calendar for volunteers, both on Facebook and in our newsletter. So please let us know if you can help out. And of course, those of you that have been running around cleaning your houses during this time that we've been housebound, please make sure your donations get to Jerry. We very much appreciate it. And the next announcement is reminding you that we are doing the Christmas gift drive again for the residents of Sun Terrace. As has been true for the past several years, we are their only source of Christmas delight. And so we very much appreciate any and all of your donations. There's a bin outside on the porch of my house, 807 Ojai Avenue, that you can just drop them off anytime. And as a matter of fact, people have dropped off quite a few already, so thank you very much for that. So let's just join together in sharing that reach of compassion, especially to this place where they've been so cut off from their typical visitors and family. And the next announcement, I say with great joy, signed, sealed, and delivered, we have a new home. We signed a 2-year contract with the new Holiday Inn behind Big Lots where the sheriff's office is. We are thrilled to have this space. People are delightful. Contract is effective today, so at 11 o'clock, the board and the prayer ministry are going to meet there and begin planning and brainstorming. I'm sure we'll be putting out surveys, getting questions about how many people, provided we're practicing safe protocols, are interested in gathering together, and what that's going to look like. But I'll tell you what, I sure miss my peeps. And I need my peeps. I can't wait till you're coming to church. Well, actually, I say coming to church, but the truth of the matter is, I can't wait till you bring church. You are the church. A building or a room is not the church. You're bringing God and grace and good. You're bringing the presence and the power. Know the truth, and the truth shall set us free. Have you ever had one of those moments in time that changed your life completely and forever and for the better? I had one of mine flying the friendly skies of whatever back in 2000. And I did what everybody does when they board an airplane. I stowed my luggage and made sure the air was on and put my seatbelt on, made sure there was some parcels in the seat beside me, hoping that the people coming up the aisle would think that somebody's sitting there, and then began to ruffle through the seat pocket looking for magazines, Sky Mall, Time Killers. And I found Science of Mind magazine, Guide for Spiritual Living. Someone had left this magazine on the airplane. And I read it cover to cover, thinking the whole time, this is what I believe, and I could feel it resonating with me. And it was based on a principle that God is all there is, and that the universe works by a system of predictable and spiritual laws. And the magazine basically teaches spiritual tools to apply to your life. I just was thrilled with it, and it left me hungry for more. An immediate recognition I was spiritually malnourished. There's a story about a small company that was developing a pension plan for their employees. And each of the employees needed to make a token contribution to it. And then the company would have paid for the whole thing. The only contingency was every employee in the company needed to agree and needed to make a contribution, which they readily did. It was a very generous and good plan, except for one person. And he asked a lot of questions and just didn't want to do it. And his colleagues tried to talk him into it. His friends tried to guilt him into it. His supervisors tried to educate him about it and inspire him to do it. But he just wasn't moved, and he didn't want to participate. And finally, the big cheese, the CEO, called him to his office. And he sat down, and the CEO put a piece of paper on the desk in front of him, handed him a pen, and said, "This is the pension plan. Sign it or you're fired." Well, he signed it without hesitation. And when he was finished, the CEO said, "Why didn't you sign it in the first place?" And he said, "Well, no one explained it so clearly up until now." When I was younger, that's how I understood going to church. I better do it or else it was going to be big trouble. This idea that we were broken, that we needed fixing, that we needed saving, and that if we didn't go, there would be this, eternal consequence. Well, scare tactics and unanswered questions never really worked well for me. But Science of Mind magazine, when I started reading this, I could just feel it calling me and resonating inside of me and leaving me hungry. And I ordered it, and I read it for months and months, and I finally looked in the back to find a church and say, I need to go check these people out. Well, that only left me hungrier, because the very first service, the minister said, "Don't believe me. Learn the principles, apply the principles, and decide for yourselves." Well, that certainly hooked me. No one was trying to coerce me into it. No one was threatening consequences if I didn't do it. They were simply enticing me to learn and to follow my own investigation. It changed my life completely and forever, and for the better. I've been on this journey for the last 20 years. I love the concept that God is everything, knowing that everything and something else cannot coexist. So if it's all God, and it's all good, and it's all grace, and we're all one, then we're not only in God, but God is in us. How's the saying go? Not only is the drop in the ocean, but the ocean is in the drop. So we're not broken. We don't need fixing. We don't need saving. Our soul doesn't need to be saved. It needs to be revealed. We can't call forth the presence of God. We can only remove the obstacles that block our awareness of the presence of God. Because as the name would suggest, the presence is already and always present. And we can't stop the working of the spiritual law of God. We can only stop our awareness that it's working, or our deliberateness in working it. But we're always working it because it's always working. So when we come to New Thought churches and positive living centers, we understand that we're bringing church. We're not going to church, we're bringing church. We're bringing the presence with us. So we come to remind each other of the truth of who we are and about our spiritual birthright and heritage, about our power and our potential, and to support each other in practicing the principles. We're hungry for the truth that will set us free. Not just learning it, but living it. We're not just Sunday believers and behaviors. I don't remember who said this, but it's like going to a restaurant when we're hungry. We're looking for nourishment, so we read the menu, and everything looks delicious, doesn't it? This looks good, and oh, I like that, and I love that. And then the waiter comes and explains the specials, asks us if we have any questions. So we read the menu, and we hear all about it, but then we don't say amen and go home hungry. We don't leave satisfied having just talked about the menu, having just learned about the nourishing possibilities. That's not enough. It's not why we came. We came to feed our hunger. And until we partake in food, we go hungry. And until we partake in the practice of the truth of who we are, we will be spiritually hungry. Thus, we're not just Sunday believers and behaviors. We get that we're not coming to church, that we are bringing church. And it sure helps that we meet together with other like-minded truth journeyers, especially when there's stormy times. And I think everybody would agree the times are stormy with the COVID virus, with the economics, with politics, with racial tensions. I went to vote on Friday. I was quite excited about it. It felt like a holiday. And I was standing in line, and it was going to take a while to vote. And a young woman ran up to the girl that was right in line in front of me and looked at me and said, "Do you mind?" They were obviously friends, and it's like, no problem at all. And so they shared their greetings. "Hello, how are you, how are you?" And all of a sudden, the girl that was in line looked at her friend and said, "Is everything all right?" And with that, the girl started sharing a million things that were wrong. After I listened for a while, I realized that the question, "Is everything all right?" really is what's wrong in disguise. And I definitely got an earful, and especially about the election and the candidates. What was wrong with the other candidate? What was wrong with people that supported the other candidate? What was going to go wrong in the world if the other candidate won? Stormy times, my friends. I found myself wanting to ask not, "Is everything all right?" but "Is anything all right?" These are stormy times. And guess what, my love muffins? We are the eye of the storm. Not the eye of the storm, the eye of the storm. If we want the world to be a better place, I heard you, we have to be a better person in it. Because the world's made up of people. And our storms are made up of people. Us. Everyone. We are not creatures of circumstances. We are creators of them. So now is a good time to bring church, to bring God, to bring grace, to bring the presence, to bring the truth of who we are into our awareness and our interactions. In one of my classes when we were talking about how to pray during stormy times, for difficult and challenging situations. Somebody in the class said, well, you know what I heard you're supposed to do? I heard that don't tell God how big your storm is. Tell your storm how big your God is. How profound is that? Well, that's what we mean by bringing church. We bring the presence, our awareness of the truth of grace and good to our life, to our situations. Don't tell God how big your storm is. Tell your storm how big your God is. So your mission, my love muffins, if you so choose to accept it, my not just Sunday believers and behaviors, know you are the eye of the storm. And ask yourself frequently, is anything all right? And if you're bringing church with you, you will find lots of affirmative answers. You are the eye of the storm. And we desperately need you to be the eye of the storm at times like these. So ask yourself, is anything all right? We can't go back and make a new start, but we can start now and make a new ending. We are the people, now is the time, and this is the way. Namaste, my love muffins.